Happy Wednesday, everybody. Glad you're here working on Wednesday, on Working Wednesday. Let me show you what I'd like you to do today for American cultures. You're going to go to Canvas, which of course you already have if you're watching this video. You are clicking on May 10th through 14th. And you're going to scroll down to Wednesday, which is today. Please notice I have office hours today between 11 and 12. You can ask questions, you can get help, you can just stop by and say hello. You're going to complete a journal, or excuse me, a Civil War journal module today. As we study the Civil War, you're going to be writing several Civil War journals, a lot like people really did during the war. Mary Chestnut is a very famous Southern lady who wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote about what was happening during the war from her perspective as a wealthy, white, Southern, slave-owning, childless woman. She had a lot of time to write, and she wrote hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of journal. Well, I don't expect you to write hundreds of pages, but you'll see what we expect you to do. As we learn different pieces of the Civil War, you'll be writing about those to prove to me that you've learned something new. So let's go ahead and open this Civil War journal, number 1 module, and this will take us to a couple things to do today. First of those, as you can see here, is to watch the video that you're watching right now. Once you've done that, you'll be able to go to the Civil War journal called My Identity. Now, I have this in student view right now, so you can see what it would look like for you. I'm going to leave student view so I can click on these other items because you can't click on them until you've actually done them. So in a minute here, it'll generate itself again and get us back down to that, that module. Okay, so it says Civil War Journal number 1, My Identity. When we open that up, it'll explain to you what I'd like you to do today to get your Civil War journals started. There's a map of the United States at the time of the Civil War. The blue states are Union states, ones that want to preserve the United States as one country, and they want to get rid of slavery. The red states down here are slave states who want to break away from the United States. They believe they're going to secede and form a new country called the Confederate States of America, and they want to keep slavery. These red states with blue stripes through them here are called border states. When the war begins, Missouri, Kentucky, Maryland, and Delaware, later West Virginia, will join them. Those are states that allow slavery, but stay with the Union, at least in theory. They don't actually officially join these 11 other slave states who have seceded. Now, that might be important information for what's coming next. You're going to create an identity for yourself in today's journal. As you'll see here, you're going to use the date April 2nd, 1861, about 2 weeks before the Civil War, the fighting part of the war actually begins. So you're imagining that you are a young American person at the time of the Civil War, and your first journal entry is to introduce yourself to me. In that first paragraph, at least 30 words, you're going to describe who you are, where you live, what your life is like in 1861. For example, what kind of job do you have, or what's your family life like? Certainly, tell me about where you live. Oh, maybe what side, or what your area is like. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't really know what jobs existed in the 1860s, well, think of your trade books. One of the culture aspects we were learning about by reading our book was certain jobs that are available. Sure, a lot of people are in farming, but a lot of people are doing other things as well. Any kind of small town kind of business. Maybe you're a butcher, a candlestick maker, a teacher in a school. You could be a minister. You could be someone who makes wagons and carriages. You could be a blacksmith. You could be all kinds of things. You really could choose about any life situation you would like for yourself. In the second paragraph of at least 30 words, you're going to tell which side you support in the war and what your opinion is on the slavery issue. The last couple of days in class, we've spent some time on what slave life is like. Pretty horrible. And so you know what that's like. So you want to tell me in at least 30 words what side you're supporting and your opinion on slavery. Now, you can be just about anyone you want to be as you do these journals. You're just going to do all the journals from the perspective of the person you choose today, so make sure you choose that wisely. You could be an adult or a kid. You could be slave or free. You can be soldier or civilian. You could be Abraham Lincoln. You could be just about anything. There are a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. First of all, if you're wondering what side to support, well, the North wants to preserve the United States as one nation and end slavery. You can see here the South wants to split the USA into two nations and keep slavery. You can be just about any reasonable name or occupation or life situation for the 1860s. What's not allowed? Well, no anachronisms. An anachronism is an item that doesn't really fit into the time period of the middle 1800s. So maybe you say, oh, my job is I'm in cybersecurity. Well, great job, but it didn't exist in the 1860s. That would be an anachronism. So you want to stay away from things that obviously don't fit into the time period. And again, if you're not really sure, hey, you're the information age. You know how to look stuff up on Google and see what kind of jobs existed in the 1860s, or where people might live, or all that sort of thing. Also, we want to be sure you stay away from any inappropriate name that's going to get you in trouble, or stupid job, occupation, whatever. Please remember that Mr. Clark is the audience. I'm the one who gives you your grade. So you may make up something completely dumb, show it to your friend laughs, ha ha, that's really funny. But your friend's not giving you the grade. So keep that in mind, that I'm the person who gives you a grade, and you want to make sure you're doing what I would like you to do. Okay, so once you get down to here, you're going to write your Civil War response in this box. Yours will be live, so you can actually edit that text box. All right, that's how you do the journal. And then once you have submitted that, then you can move on to the other two things we're doing today in our module. Again, we'll have to let this generate back down to where we were. Okay, here we go. So I'd like you to spend a little bit of time with Quizlet also, with a list of Quizlet words, there we go, that are events leading us to our Civil War. We're going to work on this some in class tomorrow. So you're becoming familiar with some words that we've already talked about a little bit with the slavery issue, and also some things that are words that are going to cause the Civil War. Any war has some long-term problems that have been brewing for a long time that caused that war. Any war also has some things that spark it into action. Well, that's kind of what we're working on, those things in the next couple of days. And then one last thing you're going to do today, after you have spent some time with this Quizlet list, is you are going to go back to the module and do a short quiz on those events leading us to the Civil War. So that's 12 questions. I think there's something like 12 or 15 words in the Quizlet list. So there we go. You're going to finish up by doing the Civil War events quiz today. All right, that's your assignment for today. That's what you're doing for Working Wednesday. Have a good day. I'll see everybody on Thursday.